buckle up your seat as I give you a day in the life of facilities maintenance.
Hi there. Well, I'm here today to replace these faucets. These faucets are motion controlled. They are temperature regulated, meaning they go through a mixing valve, and they don't work anymore, at least not consistently. These ones are powered by batteries. I think they're like a 3.2 volt battery. They are made by Toto, not the dog, and they're probably coming up around 15, 16 years old now, and they just don't work consistently anymore. A set of batteries should last you a year, at least. These, we're going through batteries now like Tic Tacs. The last set of batteries lasted about 6 weeks. The set before that lasted about 6 weeks. And yeah, so I'm going to change them out, get rid of them completely. I am going to go to a manual metered system, which I think is much more reliable and a lot less expensive. Not to mention that these things are discontinued now. This model anyway, you can get an updated model, so you can't just replace a part if it's bad. You have to buy the whole thing, and it's really expensive. For a quarter of the price, you can go to a metered system where you push the button down on top and gives you 30 seconds or so of water. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to swap these out for a more basic setup that will be far more reliable and pretty much last forever.
Like pretty much any plumbing job, before you start, you shut off the water. After that, the process is pretty straightforward. I remove the controller, disconnect the plumbing lines, remove the faucet, put in a new faucet, connect things back together, turn the water back on, and hopefully, at that point, we have water. I should also add that I'll be adding a manual mixing valve. In an elementary school like this, you don't want the water too hot so that kids may scald themselves, so a mixing valve is pretty much mandatory.
Now I can see right now already that I'm going to have to get different supply lines, because these supply lines are sized for a faucet, not a mixing valve. I might as well just take them off completely. Wants to turn on me. Should have brought a deep socket set. So often when you do a job like this, it's a two-trip job, because you show up the first time and you figure out what you need for actually doing the job. In this case, I need different supply lines to finish the job. I also could use a deep socket. I think it's a 1/2 inch, maybe 9/16 for this part right here. And the reason I need it to be a socket as opposed to just sitting underneath here and undoing that, I don't have a second person, so I need to hang on to the tab at the top and keep that from turning while I undo this. Okay, I'll be back. But before I do that, I'll take out the other one as well. When I come back, I'll have less to do. Why someone has shattered this. Perhaps out of frustration, or what, I don't know. Here's the battery I was talking about. Yeah, it's a 3-volt battery. Yeah, this one was, let's just double check and make sure these are shut off before I undo them. I now have a bouquet of supply lines. So this mixing valve right here is getting replaced with this. It's just a manual mixing valve that never fails. Here's a better look at it for you. Hot in one side, cold in the other. You set your temperature by adjusting this and locking it down, and your mix comes out here. It doesn't get any simpler than this. Those are both ready to go. And here is our replacement. Isn't that an elegant, beautiful thing? I'm gonna have to try and drill a couple of small holes, which are intended to prevent this whole thing from spinning. Actually, looking at it might be more like filing a couple notches, because the size of this hole is almost as wide as the spacing on these pins. Part of all the business here is this little gasket, which actually makes a very nice template. So I will use this to determine my spacing of my filing. Just these two little guys right here. Okay, that'll work. Pretty good. Now, you know what would be ideal is a 1-inch box end wrench, which I have back in my office, but I'm not at my office right now. So you know these little guys here, you find them in the drawer at home and you go, what was that for? Well, let me show you. They're for threading in the little diffuser that goes in the end of your tap. Although what you don't have is any feel for whether or not you're cross-threading. know, in retrospect, I should have put this in first. Sometimes it helps if you go backwards and then you feel the thread catch, and then you head off in the right direction. Oh yeah, just like the guy's change room at the high school, motion sensitive lighting. Well, isn't that a beautiful thing? Pretty simple setup compared to what came out of here.
I'm working on the second faucet. Everything is connected. The water's turned on, but I've got nothing coming out of the faucet. It should be working. Hold on. It is different from the other one. Interesting. So the other one, if you looked at it as a T, you had a hot side coming in here and you had a cold side coming in here, and the mix came out here. This one is different. If you look, you got your hot side coming in here, your cold side coming through the top of the T, and your mix coming out here. That's why it wasn't working. I'll put it back together and everything will be right in the world. Okay, I've got the left side hot coming into here. I've got the right side cold coming into here. This is my mix coming out up here. So let's turn these guys on. As I said, all is right in the world. And it just goes to show you that you can't make assumptions just because you have two parts that look the same, but they're from two different manufacturers. They might not work exactly the same. That was on me. Okay, we're back up and running. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.